under the title Republican Wins in National Security Supplemental, there are 4 subdivisions: defense, national security, Israel, Ukraine, and border. Under border, there is point number 1, $650 million available for the next 5 years for building the border wall. And then my favorite talking point of many talking points, $1.3 billion for ankle bracelets and other related monitoring costs for illegal aliens during the 90-day waiting period for their asylum hearing. So, Jim, what do those 2 points tell you specifically about this bill?
These are the bones that got thrown to the border security caucus, or those who prioritize that. I feel like it's I'm surprised we're talking about this morning, Hugh, because I feel like this bill has died several times over. I feel like it's been dead on arrival. It was dead before it arrived. It's been going to be dead shortly after arrival. Even aside from the presidential politics and the report that Trump is saying, let's kill this thing and give me credit for killing it. Best case scenario, I don't even know how you get close to this.
Jim, I have been asking for a border wall since 2004 in books published in that year and in 2006 and in 1,000 columns since, because it's the visible expression of an invisible conviction that the border matters. When it says $650 million available for the next 5 years for building the border wall, that shouts at me, we're not building the border wall. Does it shout that to you?
It's authorization, not appropriation. And if I had $1 for every time something was authorized, but not necessarily appropriated, well, I could pay off the national debt, because those are 2 separate processes. And yes, I realize this isn't necessarily an appropriations bill, but you should emphasize it's million with an M, not billion with a B.
It's million with an M, and it's available. It's available for 5 years. They're not building the border wall. And then the idea of $1.3 billion for ankle bracelets. I went on Google this morning. You know how long it takes to find out how to take off an ankle bracelet, Jim?
Yeah. What's the old movie title? Gone in 60 Seconds?
God, that's it. And by the way, the cartels are busy right now providing their clients with the materials with which to remove whatever it is that the Border Patrol puts on their ankle when they come over. This is a disaster. Why do we keep doing this, Jim? We being Republicans.
I suspect. Actually, that's a good question for Langford. Don't ask me this. Look, there are 2 things that are kind of first of all, like the sheer number of people coming month after month, and the fact that these numbers get worse month after month, is a strong indicator of this is, we've been saying it's a crisis for a long time. We have not been Chicken Little. We have not been, exaggerating. It is a genuine crisis. Finally, we've got Biden coming out and saying, the border hasn't been secure for 10 years. But obviously we can look at the numbers during the Trump years. They went down pretty drastically, particularly at the beginning of his presidency, and also during COVID. And COVID's an X factor that nobody could have planned for. But you have these, it's there. And the irony is, this entire discussion, a side effect is the potential of saving Biden's presidency. Because I think if nothing happens between now and November, the odds of Biden getting reelected are lower, right? This is a major weakness. All the polling points to it. Americans are fed up about this. They've been screaming for action on this. The weird thing is Republicans are effectively throwing this life preserver to Joe Biden, and Biden doesn't want to take it. He, if I were Biden, I'd be like, oh no, let's build.
But Jim, if it was a real border bill, I would be for it. I mean, if they really secure it, because I want to fund Ukraine, I want to fund Israel, I want a lot of stuff in here. It's just not securing the border.
Hugh, halfway would be a very nice start. And if we this doesn't even get, this is like 10. This is the potential of 5 to 10%. This is the potential for incremental improvement, assuming political will stays there, which we all know is a not safe bet there. The only thing I would just point out here is that if the attitude of Republicans is, well, we don't like this bill, and they got plenty of reasons to not like it, and their attitude is, we're going to wait until next January because Trump's going to be president, and we're going to have nice big majorities in the House and Senate. I don't know if that's a safe bet. It's conceivable that you don't get that. You're certainly not going to have 60 votes in the Senate, so Democrats will still have a filibuster. You may have a House majority. You may not have a House majority. I don't know.
You might be able to do it on reconciliation, but the messaging should be, we're not going to vote for a bill that doesn't secure the border, period. Whether it helps us politically or not, we're not doing it. Jim, let me ask you about Biden's age. The NBC poll came out. Only 23% of Americans believe he's fit for office. I had dinner with my friend Zev Yaroslavsky, and he's a longtime Democrat, city council member, county supervisor, wonderful guy, and a couple of other of my liberal to independent leading Republican friends in the Fetching Massachusetts on Saturday night. And Zev swears Biden's up to the job. Now, Zev is a Dem. He's a Biden supporter. They're going to say that. Does anyone really believe that?
Hugh, have we had any on-camera statement from the president about any of the airstrikes against the Houthis
No.
or against Iran? Not a right? No Oval Office address to the nation.
None.
No address anywhere else. No meeting
Nope.
to the troops. He has done some closed-door Democratic fundraisers, though, and that we
Yep.
get transcripts of that. That's he has done the event down in South Carolina. He does so. He's doing political events. He's not doing the traditional commander-in-chief, my fellow Americans, I have authorized airstrikes against these. And here's the thing. I don't believe this is a deliberate strategy. Oh, we're just going to hide the president. I think it's because he can't. I think if President Biden could be doing a lot more public events, he would be doing a lot more public events. The fact that he's not, while he's down in head-to-head matchups against Donald Trump, is evidence that he can't. It's
Now, Nikki Haley said on the show last week, we're going to have a woman president. It's either going to be me or Kamala Harris. It's a good line. I don't know if she's going to win South Carolina or Michigan or anything on Super Tuesday. I'm neutral. It's a good line, but we really are. Kamala Harris is she's going to be president if Joe Biden wins, right?
It's certainly the actuarial tables point in that direction. Look, I would point out that Joe Biden is, if it used to be he did one public event a day, somewhere between like 10 and maybe 4 in the afternoon, never more than one. Weekends are always in Delaware. He takes the easier steps to get down Air Force One. I don't care about that. That's fine, but I think it's just an indicator of how everybody's terrified of this guy taking a trip in a fall. And that's just this, I think the irony is that as the race heats up, we're seeing less of Biden. And again, he's just not doing the things you'd expect a president to do. Among them, address the country when we take military action against a terrorist threat that's already killed Americans.
Yeah, you cannot trick. You cannot make an infirm man firm.
I'm sorry?
You can't make an infirm man appear physically fit.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, when he's addressing, he did give the phone call to the families of those who were slain over in Jordan. And he told the story that my son was killed over there, which is not the case. And I know Joe Biden believes that the burn pits are, were what caused Joe Biden's cancer. Or it's not proven.
It's 81-year-old man behavior who's fading rapidly. And it's sad. It's unfortunate. It's a fact. And we're not going to turn away.